Welcome to
the Skypodcast.
Exclusive on Spotify.
Season 2!
Hello! Welcome back!
Welcome back.
Welcome back to us!
Yeah. What does it feel like?
Jet lagged slightly. I know you're jet lagged because I keep waking you up. Like yesterday, I woke you up 10 a.m. na.
Yeah, but I feel a lot better now. Like, kanina, Chris woke me up, 9:30 na, baka may trabaho ka, just letting you know.
Yeah.
So, I came from a trip in Paris.
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 Yes.
It was my first time there. It was Chris's X number of times there.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you been to Paris?
A lot. But Paris holds a special place in my heart talaga because I studied there when I was 18.
Wow, social.
No, it's not social. It was kind of an exchange program.
Then
back in college.
generational wealth na to niya.
But later, like, I love Paris, even though, a lot of people have a lot of things to say about Paris. It's either you hate it or you love it. I always thought, love, that you would not like it.
I think I like it more than I thought I would because it's been 3 years since
We traveled.
So you went to school there, but you had a lot of stories about going to school there. Can you share a
A
little
lot. I don't know nga where to start. Why don't you ask me a
Si
question?
Chris daw, wala na siyang pera dun.
Yeah.
So naki-ride lang siya ng someone with an apartment there.
Yeah, oh gosh. So many stories. So when I was 18, I was a sheltered little girl.
Yeah.
I was not even allowed to go outside the gate of my school because my parents were so intense and really put me in a bubble, right?
Mm-hmm.
So nagulat ako na pinayagan ako ng dad ko to study in Paris by myself, alone, far, far away from anyone. And I only had a very measly allowance, which I don't blame my dad because everything in Paris is so expensive. I think nobody ever expected it. So because it was so expensive, to buy like a sandwich outside of my school was like 1,000 pesos.
A sandwich?
Yeah. For one sandwich, hindi ko afford yun kasi syempre kailangan ko kumain ng breakfast, lunch, at dinner, di ba?
Oh, and 1,000 pesos that time was even more expensive.
No, it was 1,000 pesos in today's time.
Wow.
More or less. It was
And
about
that time-
10 euros. So at that time, the exchange rate was 70 pesos to 1 euro.
Okay.
So about 700 euros at that time. 700 pesos at that time.
Okay.
So let's say 1,000 pesos nga for one sandwich. So, because I was budgeting my money and nahiya ako sa dad ko to ask for more because syempre, he paid na for my apartment, my tuition, lahat-lahat. So I would just go to the vending machine and buy 1 euro Twix. Twix bars lang ako every lunch. That's my baon. For breakfast, I know. So for breakfast, I would go out of my apartment and there'd be a bakery beside because in Paris, there are bakeries everywhere. That's a thing in Paris. And I would buy a baguette. So 1 euro din yung baguette. Yung French bread na sobrang matigas.
Tigas, parang sword.
And it's long. So I would just munch on that the whole day until lunch. Maubos na siya around lunchtime. Then I'll buy a Twix bar. So 2 euros na yan. 2 euros na yan. And then for dinner, I'll just have cup noodles which I brought all the way from Cebu.
So,
That's
yun lang yung mo,
for
kinain
1
mo.
month.
Oh.
For 3 months. And then sometimes
How unhealthy can you be?
super unhealthy. I gained so much weight.
And you didn't grow.
And I had grocery. But I was so sheltered nga. I've never done grocery in my life for like real food, like market. I don't know where.
Yeah.
So I just went to the local Franprix, which now, love, you've been to Franprix.
Ang dami Franprix, parang 7-Eleven nila.
It's parang 7-Eleven. So they don't have much selection. So I don't understand French at the time. So ang naintindihan ko lang na fish is salmon fish. All the other fish, hindi ko alam. Like it's a whole fish, it's not fillet. I don't know how to cook it.
Yeah.
So I just bought salmon and that's my splurge. Salmon from Franprix. So I'll have it like once a week. With broccoli.
Aww.
Yeah, I know. I think my parents will cry if they hear this kasi di din nila alam. Syempre, they don't want me to eat like that. But nahiya rin ako. Tsaka, if I ask for more budget, ang gusto ko hindi food, gusto ko shopping.
What about Scott? What if Scott or Sevi were to go to Paris and then ate like that because we didn't give them enough?
Well, first of all, kasalanan ko talaga kasi I didn't tell my parents. And they gave me a bank account na may pera. So, get anytime. Pero syempre, nahiya ako. Ibig sabihin, they raised me well.
Hindi, nahiya ka kasi ang mahal-mahal na ng Paris in the first place.
Grabe. Yung apartment ko was 16 square meters lang with bath and kitchen.
Diba you were just borrowing an apartment for a little while?
Okay, this is another story. The apartment was 70,000 pesos for such a small space. So I told my dad, I know this is so expensive. I'll just live with a friend for the first how many months? For as long as I can. I'll find a roommate and live with a friend. So for the first, I think, month, I lived with the son of my dad's friend. Who
you barely knew.
I did not know him at all. He was like 10 years older than me. And I lived in his apartment. The thing is, first of all, nahiya ako sa kanya. Kasi syempre, I'm 100% sure he didn't want me there. Right? Like, who is this stranger, 18 years old, intruding in my life? Tsaka yung apartment niya, studio. So there's no privacy at all. Can you imagine how annoying that is? I knew I was so annoying, but I didn't have a choice. And so the thing is with his apartment, I couldn't open the door. Like I know that sounds so dumb, but I tried my best. I couldn't open the door and I kept practicing to the point na my fingers were so bloody because I would try every day to open the door, but I just couldn't. And I know, love, you can relate because in our Airbnb,
Mahilig
so
sila sa
hard.
mga lumang klaseng door na
Yung
parang
kailangan mo i-feel.
I had a hard time, but it's not that I couldn't open it.
Like, I still couldn't open this Airbnb door. Parang you have to pull it a little, twist the knob, push it in a little. Parang may timpla.
Yes.
Yeah, so I really, I tried so hard and I know that sounds so dumb, but guys, siguro 1 month ako nag-try. Hindi ko talaga mabuksan yung door. So what my mom did was, she went with me to Paris and she stayed inside the apartment the whole time while I was in school. Para after school, she can open the door for me.
Parang mas mahal pa yung plane ticket niyan than to just get you an apartment.
No, syempre sinamahan nila ako to settle me in and everything. And she just didn't go home because hindi ko talaga mabuksan yung door. But that also says something about a mother's love because I would do the same for Scott. Like, cancel my whole life to open the door for him for 1 month. Para makatipid.
So, before we went to Paris, Chris actually took French lessons.
Yes.
Because akala niya, very snobby daw yung mga French. Na pag nag-i-English ka, mas hindi ka nila pinapansin. Which I noticed also. Kasi ang dami nila hindi nakakaintindi, number 1. And number 2, yung accent natin tend to be more American. Parang, sa kanila parang, that's not very French. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when I was 18, at that time, it was so completely different from how it is today. Because today, like, everybody speaks English and it's fine. And we went to an event that was a global event.
Yes.
So everybody was so friendly and, you expect that these people don't speak French. It's fine.
Yeah.
But when I was 18, it was the complete opposite. Even if I went to the metro to ask, how do I buy tickets? Because I spoke in English and I spoke in my accent, which is kind of Valley Girl, they hated me. They wouldn't answer me. They wouldn't sell me tickets, even though I was there to buy something. If I went to a store, instead of the sales lady being accommodating and say, hey, ma'am, okay, yeah, sure, try this on, la la la. Because I spoke English, they didn't make me pansin. Parang nasa-stress pa sila that I was there.
Yes.
So I didn't want that experience to be your first experience of Paris because, syempre, even with all of that, Paris still really holds a special place in my heart. So I tried my best to go back to school and learn the language, even just basic conversational French. So that, they wouldn't be snobby to you at least and you would have a great time in Paris. Honestly.
Pero at first, when we landed, parang nahiya ka pa to use your French.
Nahiya ako syempre kasi, oh my God, eto na naman tayo. Isa-snob na naman ako if nagkamali ako. Like, nakakahiya, lalala.
So, paano? Example.
But we did notice, like, we met a friend there, Jenny. She actually slid into my DMs. And I told us later, hey, this girl seems fun. Let's meet her up.
Yeah.
So she's a follower. She lives in Paris, and we met up with her. And I noticed that everywhere we go, like, they would be a little bit snobby to us at first.
Yes.
But when Jenny would start speaking Spanish, naman, when Jenny would start speaking French,
Ang
instantly
laki ng
they would
difference.
warm up.
Oh, laki ng difference.
They'd instantly say, "Oh wow, your French is so good." Like, even though she would kind of have a hard
She
time at
looks
first,
Pinoy.
instantly like 180. Diba?
Oh, even in the restaurants, iba yung nila
Iba.
treatment. They joke around.
Yes.
They
When at first it's just like here's the menu, order, and then leave. When you speak French, they banter with you. They make sure you have a good time. They tell you what's good, the good wines, and stuff like that.
And they let you in, no, yung mga stores na,
let you
guys, ang hirap mag-shopping. Like, parang gusto mo nang gumastos, gusto mo nang mag-shopping, pero pinapapila ka pa.
Yeah.
And it's unlike any other part of the world when you go try to buy something, parang, oh ma'am, ito yun, bebentahan ka talaga. So, dito yung experience ko yung parang, kahit may pera ka, hindi ka namin bebentahan.
We're talking about luxury shops and luxury boutiques now in Paris. It's so completely different from how it was also before.
Yes.
And this is an experience that I talked to a lot of my friends living in Paris. They all share the same sentiment. Na ever since the pandemic, things have changed so much. Like, everywhere you turn in Paris, there's a line for luxury shops.
Yes.
So there was this one time I really wanted to go in Chanel, and the line was so long. So I lined up and I told Slater and our friend Nico, okay, go do your own shopping, tapos balikan niyo lang ako. A few hours later, maybe 1 hour later, they come back for me, and I'm still in the line. And the
And
only
it's
reason,
the same line, like maybe just 2 steps forward.
the only reason why I moved 2 steps forward is because a group gave up from the line. And then I told Slater, like, love, just give me like 1 more hour because I'm so close to the door. And then when I looked in, there are like 10 people inside the shop still lining up. And then we asked the guy, like, how long will it take? And he's like, 2 more hours minimum.
Yes.
I'm like, what the hell? This is crazy. If you guys want to hear the full episode, you can.
Check us out on Spotify.
Spotify.
It's free, guys. It's free.
See you there.
Skypodcast.
Skypodcast.